Hello guys, you're welcome to Sand Farms. My name is God Sent of Sand Farms, and today is actually the part two series of the series I did before on questions that you need to ask yourself before you start your rabbit farming. Now, if you've not watched the part one series, I urge you to go back to the video gallery and search for that part one series so that you get informed on the questions that you need to ask yourself before you start or before you go into rabbit farming. Now, on this part two series, I'm going to start with the first question that you will need to ask yourself. How much do I know about the common diseases and sickness that a rabbit might go through? Because you need to know, you need to have uh, basic knowledge of uh, some of the diseases and how to treat them, because you might not have the services of a veterinarian at your fingertip at all the time. There might be cases where emergencies might arise or you will need to do it yourself. It's either to save cost or to save time or to save the life of the rabbit, because time is paramount in case of uh, rabbitry sickness. So sicknesses like the deworming, the administration of antibiotics, those are basic things that you can, those are basic medications that you can give or administer yourself in your farm to actually save you cost if you can be able to do them yourself, especially when you have uh, a setup like this, or a setup that is even bigger than this. So that being said, we're going to move on to the second one, which is, if I have other animals that I'm keeping, what could be the interaction between my rabbits and those other animals? You can hear behind me, you can hear the barkings of dogs, you can hear my dogs barking, and sometimes I keep chicken, but I don't have, for now I have not stocked my chicken for now. So you want to ask yourself, if I'm keeping other animals around my rabbits, what is the likelihood that they share similar diseases, or excuse me, or this particular animal can transmit a certain type of diseases to my rabbit, or vice versa? So you want to find out that information as well, regards the particular animals you're keeping. Like chicken now, they share a similar uh, sickness, or rather a disease, with the rabbit, and that's talking about coccidiosis. So you want to find out all that so that you don't get your head uh, uh, moving around the cloud thinking where is the source of a particular disease coming from that is affecting your rabbit. So if you're treating your rabbit for coccidiosis and you know you have chickens around, you also treat them for coccidiosis as well. Yes. So that being said, it's going to be taking us to the third question in this part two series of the questions that you need to ask yourself before you go into rabbit farming. And the third question is going to be, you're going to ask yourself if you're going into excuse me, you're going into rabbitry for commercial purpose, or for uh, uh, for personal use, or for pet purpose. Now, let me talk about the commercial purpose. If you're going into rabbits, you decided that you're going into rabbit for the commercial purpose, your budget, which I talked about in the part one series, is going to play a major role in determining if you're going into rabbitry for commercial purpose. Now, if you've done that, you decided that you're going in for the commercial purpose, then you will want to know the number of rabbits you're going to be starting with. You want to know the number of rabbits you're going to be starting with, and you want to plan out an expansion. You want to have an expansion plan ahead, because cage construction is not a cheap venture when it comes to expanding in your farm. Though it's going to last and serve you for a very long time, but uh, at that instant where you're going to be expanding and constructing new cages for expansion, it's going to be expensive at that moment, but going on, you're going to find out it's worth the expenses. And rabbits being prolific in nature, they don't really give you that much room, or they don't really give you that much time for expansion, because if you do not plan your expansion program well, your cages are going to be flooded with rabbit kits, and you're going to be running out of space, where you're going to be finding ways running up and down. It's going to be like an emergency situation, trying to get an expansion, or trying to get an expanding your cages to accommodate the excess in a hutch. Now, after saying that, you decided you want to go commercial. Now, the fourth question you would ask yourself: how do I get to my target market? Because going commercial simply means you want to sell to the public, or you want to sell to a larger patron. You want to sell to a larger whether in markets or hotels, restaurants, as the case may be. So you want to visit a restaurant in person, you want to visit hotels in person to tell them this is what you have. You want to go to the market to tell them this is what you have. How do you get to them, across to them, to sell your products to them? Or you want to explore other means like the social media, the use of the online marketplace. There are several online marketplaces where you can exhibit your products to a wider range of patronage. So these are the things you want to consider beforehand if you're going into rabbit farming for commercial purposes. Yeah, there are several marketplaces, or there are several social media handles like the WhatsApp status, the Facebook market, many of them. So you want to explore all available options where you can sell or make available your product to your targeted. Yes, your targeted. It has to be intentional. It has to be targeted so that you can get a desired result. So the last question on this series that I want to bring to your attention is going to be: haven't asked yourself all these 8 or 9 questions, like starting from the part 1 series now. Haven't asked yourself all these. There's one major or one important one that you really need to ask yourself, and you really need to work on as soon as possible, and that is record keeping. You want to ask yourself, this that I'm going into is going to be involving financial transactions. Do I know how to keep track of my finances? Or do I know how to keep records of my farm activities? If you don't, I want to urge you, before you start, you have to get that knowledge. If you think knowledge is expensive, then try ignorance of it. You won't be able to keep track of your inputs, whatsoever you're putting into the rabbitry, whatsoever you're putting into the business, relating it to what you're going to be having as profit or as gain at the end of each sales. So you want to learn how to keep records of your farm activities, and which is going to be giving birth to keeping records of your financial transactions, your inputs and your outputs. In that way, you'll be able to tell if you're making progress in the farming, or you have some areas that you need to improve on. So guys, this is all I have to say for now on questions that you need to ask yourself before you start your rabbit farming venture or business. So I'll see you in the next video. Like always, if you've not subscribed to this channel, please do that right away. Turn on the notification bell. It's always an exciting discussion here at Scent Farms. All the time we post videos, exciting videos where you can learn how to raise your rabbits, either for meat or for sale or for pet purpose. It will interest you to know that Scent Farms has started a new section here of quail birds. We've actually started our quail birds section, and I did an introductory video on that, so you want to check that out. It's going to be exciting, like always here at Scent Farms. I'll see you guys in the next video. From me, Godsent of Scent Farms. Bye bye. This is potato peel from my kitchen. All you see is what I feed my rabbits with them. It's one of the ways you actually subsidize feeding your rabbits. Okay, so I give this to especially the nursing dose, and the kit is very, very good for them. But you want to do well to wither it first before you serve it to them. I just want to leave it to dry a little bit before you serve it to them. So guys, I'll see you in the next video, guys.